walk with me today. Today is December 23rd, and it is a gorgeous day in Arizona. I've been babysitting my grandson the month of December with my husband, and my daughter forgot his stroller in her car. So Jackson took a nice little nap right now. Hi, Logan! And while he is sleeping inside, Jeff is working on the computer editing some Anchor Moments RV videos. And I thought I'd go for a walk and enjoy this beautiful sunny day. It is 66 degrees outside right now and just beautiful here. Look at this. Just so beautiful, beautiful day today. Oh, I thought I'd take a few of you on a walk with me today. And tonight I'll go live again when I give myself my Mounjaro shot. This is week number 50 for me. I can't believe it's almost been an entire year. Hey, Logan says, I have to tell you something about Freestyle Libre. How long you had it for? Oh, how long have I been doing Freestyle Libre? That is a good question, Logan. I started it, let's see, I found out I had type 2 diabetes on, hey, I got Mindy in the house too. Question, Logan. I got diagnosed with diabetes on October 13th of 2020. I remember the date because it was the same week that my daughter got married, and she got married on the 17th of October. So right before her wedding day, I found out I had type 2 diabetes, and I started taking, let's see, a Freestyle Libre probably about a month or so after that, because I took a 6-week course at the hospital about type 2 diabetes, and they highly recommended it. Hey, I got Carrie in the house too. Hi, Carrie. And Blue Fellas, is what that says. I should be wearing my glasses so I can read the comments even better. Hi, come on along with my walk with me today. But anyway, yeah, for years I've been using a Freestyle Libre, and I really do like it. Oh, thanks. Merry Christmas to you too. Blue Waveless? Blue something. I don't know. I think I'm going to call you Blue for short. Hi, Blue. Hey, do we have Barb in the house? It says, hey, Barb, hope you're enjoying Texas. All right. And what meter do you have when you were diagnosed with type 2 diabetes? Oh, that's another good question, Logan. My finger reader that my doctor gave me was called One Touch. And that's the one that I have used. My mom had a glucometer for years when she was a type 2 diabetic. Yeah, those readers are really helpful. So that way you know what your blood sugar is, and when it starts to go too high, you know to go for a walk, or also look at what was the last thing you ate. And I can tell you, I learned, Logan, I am walking out in the wild right now. But so nice to have you guys on the walk with me. Hey, got Barb here, able to do everything with them. Tons. Oh, good. Boy, lots of good friends. And I should be done babysitting in time to be home tonight to do my Mounjaro Monday live. This is just a little bonus video, so I wouldn't be lonely on my walk. I'm taking you guys with me, because it is just such an absolutely beautiful, beautiful day out here. Does anybody have any big plans for this week, for the holidays? If you have a big plan and like to share it, or if you've had a win this week, please share your wins with us too. One of my wins is I made a whole bunch of my grandmother's recipe for Christmas cookies. She was Italian, and they are Italian cookies called Tidals. And I made a whole bunch of them because I like to put them on pretty Christmassy paper plates and hand them out to friends. Oh, Barb jumped on a trampoline for the first time. That's a cool, fun win, Barb. How cool is that? That is super fun. Oh my goodness. And to think that there was 10 years, Barb, that it was hard for you to get out of bed. And now you're jumping on trampolines. I'm so proud of you. How fun is that? Oh, I'm not even sure what I was. Oh, I made all these cookies to give to my neighbors, and I only ate 3 of them. And in a whole week's time, to only eat 3 of my favorite Christmas cookies, that's a win. And I enjoyed them, but they didn't call me as much as they used to. And so anyway, that is a win. And a little sneak preview, another win for me is I lost a new pound this week, so I'm excited about that too. Hey, and Logan says, I'm happy to be on the live with you. I'm so happy to have you on the live too today, Logan. I bet you don't have school right now. I bet this is probably your first week of Christmas break. That's great. See, I know I have a video. Oh, shoot. I'll have to wait till the next, when you live stream on your cell phone, the comments come and then they disappear really quick. Crazy, I know. I have a video for proof. Oh my gosh, I want to see that video, Barb. Oh, and I got Deb in the house too. Yay! Yep, just doing a super fun, quick walk today. And I thought I'd take you guys with me. So this is just a bonus video today. Oh my goodness. And Logan says, will you pray for me? Will you pray for me when I had my surgery? Yes, we did pray for you when you had your surgery, Logan. Do you have to have another one, or are you done for now? I'm hoping you are recovering. Hey, and Carrie's baking today, and she's sending you lots of prayers, Logan. You got a good, friendly community here, that's for sure. And Barb, we need you to post that video. That's right, we want to see you jumping on that trampoline, Barb. That'd be a super fun video. Absolutely. Super duper fun. And I love the video that Barb posted when she got to go to Disney World with her whole family, and she didn't need a wheelchair. She was able to walk the whole thing at Epcot all on her own. And that was a really fun one for sure. And one day I hope to go to Florida and visit you, Barb. Jeff and I are thinking of at some point this spring going on another trip, and Florida is one of the places we want to go, and I would just love to see you in person. It's about time I give you a big hug, especially since you shared such a lovely interview on our channel. I still really appreciate you so much, Barb, and you sharing so much with us. Barb has lost, I don't know, last time I think I asked, you were like 265 pounds down, and she is at her goal weight and jumping on trampolines, for Pete's sake. How cool is that? Like being second, you're having your second childhood now, being able to run around Disney World and jump on trampolines. I'm excited to look forward in the future. I've been able to lose this year 36 pounds. I'm a little bit of a slow responder on Mounjaro, but I've kind of put myself on maintenance on my 2 big trips that I took, and having my surgery this year slowed me down a little bit. But to lose 36 pounds and keep it off for 50 weeks, for me, that is huge. And I'd like to lose at least another 35 next year, so I'd be down at least 70, and then go on some big trips. Jeff can speak, I think, 5 different languages. When he originally went to college to be a teacher, he wanted to be a high school foreign language teacher. And I think he speaks German, French, Spanish, I think conversational Samoan, and something else. Well, in English. But anyway, he has never, ever been to Europe. We got married kind of young, and I don't know, Well, it's too bad we didn't go before we had kids. Once we had kids, it was everything we could do to scrap to make ends meet. But now that he's retired and our kids are all grown, and now that we're getting small enough that we'll be more comfortable on an airplane, it'll be really fun to go on a long trip and see some of our friends who, from the UK especially, who show up each week for our lives and have become friends with us, like Lucy and Linda and Freya. Be kind of fun to meet him sometime in London and have a really fun European vacation. So at some point that'll be in the future, and we'll do videos about that too. We'll bring all of you along for that. I think that would be so fun. It'll probably be another year or 2 out before I can make those travel plans, because my son is engaged and we are so excited. Our son Jacob is engaged to his girlfriend Priya. They've been dating for years. They met in college, and they're best friends. I just love them both to pieces, and they're recently engaged, so they don't know yet for sure when they're going to get married and or where. We're still trying to figure all of that out. So I won't be planning a European trip until I know at least for sure when the wedding will be. And that could be a big goal for me for next year, when I go walking and swimming and exercise, because I want to be in good shape so that way I can walk around Europe and go up all the stairs and see all the sights and not be too exhausted, and to be able to sit on an airplane for a long time and be able to wear a seatbelt that is comfortable. So anyway, so that's one of my future goals. Hey, do any of you guys do a word of the year, where you think instead of doing a New Year's resolution, you think of a power word and a power word for the year, which makes it really easy. And you can put that power word on your mirror, or stick it in a piece of paper and put it in your pocket, but pull it out and think about that power word, and have really concentrate on it and try to involve that power word in your year. 2 years ago, my power word was grace, and it was a really good power word for me that year. When I thought of grace, it was to give myself grace, to give others grace, and at the end, on June 27th of 2023, of my year of grace, Jeff and I we picked up our van that was converted inside into an RV, And when we picked up our van, we wanted a name for her. And we chose Grace because we want to travel in God's grace. And so that was my best power word year. My favorite one was the year that I chose Grace as my power word. And I'm trying to think of what power word I want to do this year. I've been thinking of a few, like joy. I know one year I'm going to have to do declutter. As, my husband and I have lived in the same house for it'll be 34 years this March. And I know it's 34 years because this March we'll be married 35 years. And we moved into our new house on our 1-year wedding anniversary. And we've never left. So we've raised 2 kids in that house. And you end up getting a lot of clutter. I have very, very, very full closets. My son's old bedroom has turned into a storage room, which we need to clean out so we can turn it into Jackson's baby room. Let's see, I think I'm gonna go, let me try this street. Go down this, I'm just trying to make sure I don't get lost. Okay, so I know we're gonna need to declutter that room and fix it up so it'll be a fun grandchild room. So every now and again we'll be able to have our grandkids come and spend the night and have a fun place to play with toys and things. We still have, oh my gosh, it still has a lot of Jacob's old toys in it. So there's a lot of things in that room. So that'll be a big thing to do. But another word I'm thinking of for this year is travel. We almost lost Jeff at the beginning of 2024 when he had bladder cancer. And that really put things in perspective for us, that you just don't know how many days you have. And you got to be sure to try to make each day count. And like I say, Jeff can speak a lot of languages, but he's only been to Canada and Mexico. We've never left this continent together. I've traveled to Europe before. When I was in college, I was a international YMCA camp counselor, which, by the way, they still do that. Logan, this is good information for you to know too. You could be one of those if you want. It is a really cool program. There are YMCAs all over the world, and they have an international camp counselor program where you can go and be a camp counselor in just about any place in the world. And all you have to come up with is the cost for your airfare. But once you arrive, you go to the camp and you get free housing, free food, and you get an outstanding opportunity. And for me, when I applied for the program, I had been a camp counselor at Camp Benson in Mount Carroll, Illinois. And Jeff also, I met Jeff when I did my student teaching. And fun story, I did my student teaching in Arizona, even though I went to Eastern Illinois University in Illinois. I got an opportunity to be one of 5 student teachers to do our student teaching in Arizona because that's where the jobs were. And when I did my student teaching, and we fell in love. He'd never had a girlfriend before. He had just taken a year off from being at seminary to be a Catholic priest. So I mean, he was not doing the girlfriend route, but we met and fell in love, and I talked him into being a camp counselor with me in Mount Carroll, Illinois. And funny story, that camp, Camp Benson, let's see if we're going to be married 37 years ago, 37 years ago, was really run down. If you've ever watched the show The Simpsons, Krusty the Clown has a camp called Camp Krusty, and it's a fallen down, kind of crappy camp. Well, it's a beautiful camp in Illinois now because they've renovated it, and Jeff and I have since gone back, and it is a gorgeous camp, and they really took good care of it. But back in 1988, it needed a lot of renovations. It was a little bit kind of run down. But anyway, I had talked Jeff into being a camp counselor there with me. And right before we left for camp, I actually broke up with Jeff. He had scared me and told me right away that he loved me, and I was afraid he was going to try to marry me, and I wasn't ready to get married. I had just broken off with a boyfriend of 2 years, and before that boyfriend, the boyfriend before that, I dated for 5 years, and I didn't want to be tied down. So when I had met him, I was hoping to just do a little dating, but not anything quite serious. And Jeff was 5 years older than me, and I could tell that man wanted to walk me down the aisle. And so I tried to slow him down, and I told him he didn't have to go to camp with me. He could cancel, and that I wanted to just be friends for a while, and kind of back off and cool off just a little bit. And Jeff, God bless him, he said that he signed a contract, and he was going to go, and he was going to honor that commitment. So Jeff and I were camp counselors together. The first week of camp, I got promoted, and I ended up being Jeff's boss. I ended up being the assistant camp director of Camp Benson, and Jeff was just a camp counselor. And so I ended up being Jeff's boss. And when we would have what we used to call it roving duty, where we had a girl-sided camp and a boy-sided camp with cabins. And each night, one or two camp counselors would have roving duty, where they'd have to go back and forth between the two campgrounds and make sure that the kids stayed in their cabins, and if anybody had any problems, you were there for them. And when it was Jeff's turn to have roving duty, I would go into town. I would drive the Camp Benson van, which was kind of like a little mini bus, passenger van. And I would go to Dairy Queen, and I'd get him a Blizzard. And I'd walk around and do with him and keep him company. And I always really liked him, but I was afraid, that he was going to want to get married right away, and that had scared me. So we were just friends. And it was really hard for Jeff at camp because he was so lovesick for me. And I remember Greg Hall was the camp director, and he would say, "Oh, Gina, you need to kiss Jeff, because we're afraid if you don't, he's going to run away from camp, and it's going to be really hard for us to get a new camp director or a new camp counselor this late in the summer." And I'd tell him, "Nope, I can't. If I kiss that old man, he's going to walk me down the aisle and marry me. And so I can't kiss him again unless I know for sure I'd be willing to marry him." And so we were just friends at camp, but we became even closer friends. And the camp closes for about 24 hours. On Saturday mornings, the kids are picked up by their parents, and they go. And the camp counselors would have until noon on Sunday that as their time off. Well, Jeff had no place to go. He didn't live in Illinois, and he had no family in Illinois. And so on Saturday nights, I would take Jeff home with me, and he would stay at my parents' house. And we just kept our friendship. And then when camp was over, we kept our friendship. And on Jeff's birthday, on September 6th, it struck me of how sweet and cute he was, and such a good friend. And then I realized, it wouldn't be so bad to be married to a guy like Jeff. And I surprised him with a kiss on his birthday in 1988. And we have been together ever since. So that's my one of our love stories there of Jeff and I. But the summer before that, I was a camp counselor at Camp Benson when I hadn't met Jeff yet, and the YMCA director at the Sterling YMCA had been part of the International Camp Counselor Program. He told me about it and had me apply, and I got to be an international camp counselor at Campamentos Penas Blancas in the mountains north of Madrid, Spain, the summer of 1987. And it was life-changing for me. I didn't know how to speak Spanish when I left, because when you apply, they could send you anywhere in the world, and I didn't know, for sure where I was going. You could put down a few of your favorite spots, but you don't know for sure which one they're going to pick for you. And so when they sent me to Spain, I was set up to work at a different camp called English in Action as a YMCA camp, and it was to help the kids learn English. So when 2 weeks before I was supposed to fly out, and I already had my plane ticket that my parents paid for, they called and said they weren't going to take any more counselors from the United States, because there was 2 sessions, and the first session of girls from America, they were kind of wild, and some of them got pregnant. So they were like, we're not taking any more American girls. And I was crushed. I was like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? This is a non-refundable flight. I can't just fly to Spain and have no place to go for 6 weeks. What am I gonna do? And they said, well, we'll find you another camp. And then they found Campamentos Penas Blancas. And there was another girl from Ohio that also was in the same situation as me, and she was there, and they flew her there too. And I tell you what, her and I had a blast. And I learned, I'm not super proficient in Spanish, but I learned a lot of Spanish. By the end, I was dreaming in Spanish. I was cute as a bug back then. I was thin, and I worked out a lot, and I was in good shape. And the guys there, the Spanish male counselors, would tell me that if I spoke to them in Spanish, they would speak to me in English. And I'd say, but I can't speak Spanish. I don't know how to speak. And they'd say, just say como se dice. And then you can tell me the one word in English that you want to learn how to say, and then we'll tell you, and then you have to ask us again in Spanish. And como se dice means how do you say? And that really helped. So instead of everything sounding like wah, 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 I could actually, have that help in learning Spanish. And I did learn quite a bit. And it helped me with my future career, because I was majoring in education, elementary education, and I got my first job in Maricopa, Arizona. And I had a lot of children in my classroom who didn't know how to speak English, and they spoke Spanish. And so I was able to speak to those kids, especially when they were crying, and I could say, oh, no llores, niño. and sing some songs and things, and it was very very helpful. It was very very helpful. So anyway, that is some of my story as I'm taking you along this walk, just enjoying having your company. And so if any of you have ever thought about travel, being a YMCA camp counselor is really pretty darn fun. And it's an inexpensive way to travel because, like I say, you pay for your airfare, but once you're there, you're taken care of. And they even have families that you can stay with for a little bit. They called those, or they used to call them, maybe they changed the name, but they called it home study. And you could do a home study and stay in somebody's house, and they show you around and really neat stuff. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed this story, Mindy. I'm a big believer in when you're engaged to be married, to be sure that you're friends, that you're not just lovers, but you're also good friends, because a strong friendship leads to a really strong, happy marriage. And both of my kids, I'm so proud of them. They both found the love of their lives in college, and they were friends first, and they're still each other's besties. And we're just so excited that Jacob and Priya are engaged and are finally going to get married, because she's fabulous. And you know, when you see a girl for your son who you adore too, it's just, I don't know, it's just the best. I am pretty darn blessed. Oh, and Jacob and Priya, they also have been camp counselors. Funny story, Logan, my son Jacob, is very shy, very shy. And he was very much an indoorsy kid. He did robotics club and he liked video games too, and really smart. He was in gifted education and always took, he took 3 calculus classes when he was in high school. Can you believe it? I didn't even take 1 calculus class. He took 3 when he was in high school. So anyway, very smart, but very quiet and very shy. Oops. There we go. Very quiet and very shy. And I needed him to have a job during the summer to help with some of his college costs. And I told him, you know, son, if you go to camp and be a YMCA camp counselor, there's a good opportunity that you might get a summer romance and get a girlfriend. Because at camp, there's only so many male camp counselors and so many female camp counselors, and you don't have a lot of competition. And usually little romances develop, and it'd be really fun. That worked. So my son, who never babysat, because he was the baby of the family, went to camp, and you have a borrowed daughter too. That's so cool, Mindy. So my son got up the nerve and the courage to sign up to be a camp counselor at a YMCA camp in Arizona in the mountains. And his future wife now, Priya, she was a camp counselor at a different camp, but very close to the YMCA camp. So, and they had met, this I think was the summer between their freshman year and sophomore year maybe, or sophomore and junior, I'm not sure. But they were friends from college, but when they both had their Saturday nights off and they were in Prescott, Arizona, they both had camps in the mountains near Prescott. They would go on dates on Saturday nights. And now they're getting married. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. And they are just good buddies. And so cute together. Okay, let's see. I'm getting close to the end of my walk. If someone gives me a comment like even hi, I'll be able to read the other comments. That they come on briefly. It just gives me a flash and then disappears in case anyone had a question that I didn't answer while I was walking and sharing love stories with you today. This was a come here love stories while on Gina's walk today. Oh my goodness. I'll try to, oh wait, there's a little button on the bottom. If I click this, does that show me? Nope. Yes, wait, maybe. Mindy says, Gina, I only have one son. His wife is now my borrowed daughter, and I couldn't love her more if she were my own. That is how I feel about Priya, too. Oh my gosh. She's so cute, so precious. She went to Barrett's Honors College, just like Jacob, and they're both engineers. She's a biomedical engineer, and Jacob is an electrical engineer. So anyway, they are just precious together. And Jacob went from being someone who was always indoorsy to they are very outdoorsy. You know where they got engaged? Iceland! They went on their first international trip together to Iceland. And it was on their